Hello everybody, it's me again, and today I want to show you a couple of things about routine when it comes to sanitizing and sanitation. I hear all the time, I don't have time, I do too many dogs, I can't clean everything in between. It's a horse puppy. You like that word? I like that word. I do it as a matter of routine now. I didn't used to. I used to be one of those people that said, I'll do it at the end of the day, I don't have enough time, or I'll do it after specific dogs. Well, in doing the research for the sanitation course for IGA, I've learned a lot, and I've changed my ways and the ways of my shop, and we now do it in between every dog, and it's really simple. I have a soaking bath here with alcohol cleaner, which is a hospital grade sanitizer, and everything when it comes off my clipper, my blades, and my combs go straight into here. My shears go straight into this little baby over here, which I'll show you in a minute, which is a hot sterilizer for nail tools. It's fantastic. It won't damage your shears. I've already asked several sharpeners, and it works really well. It's great for hemostats as well. But the key is to just have a routine. And when you have a routine, the rest is easy. It's just like grooming a dog. When you have a routine, everything goes smoother and faster, and it's a lot easier to do. So I'm going to groom him and show you what I do as I'm doing it. Doesn't mean you have to do it exactly the way I'm doing it, but I'm going to show you how I do it, and I'll show you what needs to be sanitized in between every dog. Now, I'm using a 45 blade on my clipper, so there's nothing to adjust anymore. It works under pretty much everything. And he's already had a bath and he's been dried. So he is clean. I have never seen a Yorkie shed the way he was shedding in the tub. It was really pretty horrible. But I'm going to get right there. I do everything in a specific order. I do pads, and then I do belly. And I'm skimming because I have my vac turned on. I'm not using it straight on the skin. Even though with a 45 you probably could, because it's not, there's just something about the way it works. It's really pretty cool. Under the butt. Right along the anus. I don't touch the anus. We're skimming again because I'm using the vac. But if I needed to go closer, I could. And then I'm going to use this on the tips of his ears, even though he doesn't have much hair on his ears. Turn that way. Then I'm going to do his back work with it. Now if you'll notice I skipped under his eyes, which I normally would do at this point, because I'm going to use a different clipper for that. One thing I have found is that when doing sanitation like this, you keep less things out at your station. You tend to work more methodically because you don't want to put up a blade or clean a blade that you're going to need again. Because it's redundancy. You don't want to do things more than once. This dog comes like every 3 weeks, so there's really not a whole lot to do to him, which is one reason why I love doing them, and I don't mind doing them on my days off. They always board with us, so while they're here boarding, they get a haircut, and I charge them full price every 3 weeks, plus a big boarding bill. I'm not arguing with that. But anyway, I'm using the dark purple wall in case anybody's interested. This is not really necessarily about the haircut, but just because we're on the subject a little bit. And right underneath the neck I go backwards. But again, I find I'm using less things. I find I'm keeping things out less. I'm finding my table is cleaner and my station is neater. Because I don't want to have to clean something twice, and I don't want to have to clean something that I didn't use. And if it's sitting out and it gets hair on it, then it needs to be cleaned. Anything that comes into direct contact with the dog's skin or hair needs to be cleaned afterwards, or sanitized afterwards. And there's a difference. Cleaning would involve soap. Sanitizing just involves a disinfectant. I don't see the point in cleaning every item that touches a clean dog. Now, if I look at it and it's dirty, then it goes into the ultrasonic machine or into a water bath in the kitchen and we clean it. But if it's just been used this little bit of time on this clean dog, when I pop it off, because I'm done with it, I pop it off my clipper, it goes into my alcohol bath, which I guess I can show you now what that looks like without spilling it maybe. This is a nail tech box that I found. I wanted something plastic and not something glass, so a barbicide jar was out of the question. They do make plastic barbicide jars, but they didn't have one locally. And I found these. No, get out of there. It has a lift out tray. And if I need to get hair out of something, I will lower it and raise it a couple of times, and that agitates it and it gets it cleaner. Gets all the hair out. Now right in front of my alcohol bath, I have a washcloth or a towel, and I'll show you how we get to that in a minute, but that's what I'm using there. Now let's see, comb for his head. Again, he doesn't take me long because he comes all the time. Just comb out your head, buddy. I think I did him literally 2 weeks ago, so there's only the fuzzies really to take off. Now I'm not going to clean that yet because I may need that again. If I were done with it, I would stick it either in the sanitizer or into the alcohol bath, depending on the dog and depending on what I had just done with it. If I ever pull off like eye gunk or poop or something out of feet, then it goes into the alcohol bath. Otherwise, it usually goes into my sanitizer or my sterilizer, and I will turn it over. They're supposed to soak for sit for 30 seconds. I'll let it sit for a minute or so and then flip it over to get the other side because the whole thing won't fit down in. You have to be careful with those though, and I'll get into that in a minute too because they get really hot. But according to the alcohol bottle that I'm using, which is the Purell healthcare line, 30 seconds to a minute is all that it takes for sanitizing anything. And it says soak it or get it wet and then allow it to air dry. So now that one's done, and I'm fixing to put another one in because I'm done with the A. I'll put it in, make sure it's down in there well. Just pulled my purple one out and I'll just wipe it just a smidge. It's ready to go back in the box. Now, in the time it took me to do that, you can't tell me you don't have that much time on your hands to do something in between every dog. That's how fast this is. Now, I'm done with blades on him, except for under his eyes. The blade comes off, into the bath. It's another thing. People forget about their clippers. Well, this has been on the dog and on my hands, so when I set them over here, I either wipe them with I have some towels, like I have the hydrogen peroxide towels and I have some bleach towels, or I spray it with that and let it sit to dry. One of the two. Those are done. They can come out. It's just a matter of the rhythm. You have to have a rhythm and you have to know what it is you need to do. And again, it doesn't take any more time to drop them in that than it does to put them in the case that they come out of when I'm done with them, which is something I'm really good at doing with blades and combs, is putting them back where they came from. So it doesn't take but another 2 to 3 seconds per item really to do this. Now when I'm done with these scissors, I will wipe them on my rag right here to get hair off and stick them in the sanitizer. Which they call it a sterilizer because it gets so hot. It's not going to actually sterilize them and keep them in a sterile environment, but it will kill whatever might be on the clippers or scissors. You cannot put plastic in it, which is why I have the other here. Plastic will melt because it is such a high temperature item or container. Can you get your head up for me, please? Thank you. So we get that's done. I'm going to go back with thinners in a minute and fix it. It's not finished, but I'm done with this pair of scissors. I do all of my work with this pair of scissors first before I put them up so that I don't have to take them out and clean them again. Not that it's that big of a problem, but it's more efficient. And efficiency is the key to being able to do anything fast and well. You know, I preach that. Have a routine, have a plan. Know what you're doing. Well, that's important with sanitation as well. I learned doing this class that having stuff on my table that I'm not using is a pain in the butt, because then everything that got hair on it has to be cleaned. Oh, I didn't use that anti-shedder on this dog, but it's covered in his hair, so it has to be cleaned. I didn't use that blue brush on this dog, but it was on the table, so it has to be cleaned. I don't do that anymore. So this has been incredibly beneficial for me. I don't leave my scissors on the table anymore, except the ones I'm using, because I don't want to have to clean them again. So I'm going to do everything that I need to do with this particular pair of shears. I'm running out of things to talk about right this second. But this is about routine. So now this pair of shears I'm done with it. So again, this has got some alcohol on it because it's been over here and I've been sitting stuff on it. They now go down in the glass crystals, and that snap-on comb can come out. Wipe it off, it's good. And I'm just gonna sit the blade on the side here to let it soak. I'll blow it out in a minute. Now, right under his eyes, we're gonna use this little clipper. And then I'm going to do this blade a little bit differently. Because I hate taking them on and off, I'm just going to take my bottle, spray it, wipe it. Not that much got on it anyway, but spray it, wipe it, set it up to dry, and then I'll oil it before I use it again. I know, buddy. I know it. Somebody stole my Dremel. So I'll get the big one. Okay. I'm going to do his nails because I want to go back and soften the feet up with thinning shears. Now right now I have a cardboard band on this, and they're harder to disinfect, but they're also incredibly cheap. They only cost between 5 and 10 cents a piece if you buy off brands on Amazon or eBay. And I had bought 300 of them for under 25 bucks. So what do we do with them? We toss them. Not between every dog, but every day. Anytime I get a dog on my table that has any sign of a yeast infection on its feet or nails, a nail bed infection of any kind, or even if I prick one accidentally with this, it goes in the trash and they put another one on. Now, this is a brand new one this morning. I'm going to do his brother next, so I'm not going to worry about cleaning it. But you can also, in between every dog with this, spray it lightly with your alcohol solution. Because it evaporates off really fast, it won't shred it. And that's simply, I turn it on, mist. And that is going to be sanitized when you go to use it on the next dog. I still prefer to change those out. Now, if you're using one of the diamond ones, they can go straight into your shear sanitizer or into an alcohol bath, and it doesn't matter. It'll actually help them work better if you clean them in between every dog too, because it gets off all of the nail dust. Stop. Stop, stop, stop. He's a happy boy. He wants to go up because he knows that when he gets a haircut, his mom and dad are coming. So now we're just going to touch him up. Now you can see it took me no time at all to sanitize everything in between. And even if I had used 5 pairs of shears, it's not a big deal to wipe them off, put them up. Wipe them off, put them in the container, let them sit, and then put them up. It's not a problem. This dog rubs his head, so he's got some wonky spots that I'm never fully happy with. Whoops, don't drop those. Now, if you drop something on the floor, it really needs to be disinfected before you use it on another dog. There's hair on the floor from this particular dog, maybe even from another dog if you didn't get it all up in between dogs. And of course your floor does not get mopped in between every dog in most cases. The only time I mop in between mop the floor in between dogs, is if the dog has suspect skin or has peed or pooped and I have to clean that up. You actually don't look half bad. There's not a whole lot left to fix, because like I said, he was just here 2 weeks ago. Love clients like that. But anyway, I have used 1 pair of curved chunkers, 1 pair of curved shears, 2 blades, 2 snap-on combs, a comb, and a brush. Wiped. This one comes out. That one goes, and you can put in 3 or 4 at a time. My comb, because I'm done with it, is going to go in here because he was clean and there was not much residue, so it's going to go right into that machine. The brush, there's 2 things you can do. I'm waiting on my UV machine. I have a UV cabinet coming. It'll be here today, supposedly, according to UPS. Or you can just spray it with a disinfectant and allow it to air dry. Make sure you get out all the hair. If there's skin residue, then clean it. Even with a UV cabinet, you have to clean the skin residue off and the hair off, or it won't work. It can't kill bacteria and viruses and fungus if there's bodily material or hair there. So that has to be removed. Okay, so now he's done. Now watch what I do here. I'm gonna get my hair up, which again, there's not much. If there was more, I'd pull out my little brush over here, but there's only that little bit of hair. It's a nice thing about a vac too, you end up with very little hair on the floor. And before I go get my other dog, his brother, I'm spraying, and I'm spraying my loop. Again, I'm getting his brother, but it doesn't matter right now. That's how fast this is. By the time I get back out here with my next dog, this table is ready to wipe. I have a towel. I will wipe my table, hang my towel, put my dog on it, and go. This will be dry and sanitized by the time I come back, because alcohol dries really quickly and it gets surface bacteria and fungus easily enough. Now, if I had a dog with suspect skin, either possibly even an ear infection, an eye infection, a nail bed infection, or whatever, this would go in the bag over there to be washed. And I have another one right behind me. It's easy. I love you too. So when you tell me you don't have enough time to sanitize in between every dog, I call hogwash. You do. You just have to get in the routine of doing it. It's not that complicated. I'm gonna go get his brother and get him done.